So what I'm going to jump onto next is the last of my basically main key topics today, and it's how to reduce your sales cycles. It's funny, actually, there's a guy that I follow on YouTube. I talk about him quite a lot. His name's Jordan Belford. So he's the Wolf of Wall Street guy. And he actually does some very, very good sales content, which you can follow for free. But what I always find funny is that when he writes on his board, it is just absolute garbage scribble. But I realized that when someone talks you through it, ironically, it doesn't matter if that's not particularly legible, because you still understand it. It's more about the kind of process. But actually, I find, for me, I much prefer this, and I learn better from this than if someone just clicks through slides that are kind of pre-prepared. And also, because I kind of do this live and I pretty much just wing it. I have my topics, but I pretty much just wing it. It almost hopefully shows that I do understand what I'm talking about, just in a way that adds value. But again, it's one of the classic things that anyone can stand up and present on a topic if they prepared every single word and every single slide. As we're actually just kind of going on the fly to answer stuff and answer questions and stuff is something I really kind of take great pride in. So the reason why I think it's really important to reduce sales cycles, or at least have a conscious awareness of it, is that every business wants to make money. That's the whole point of what we do. And actually, for most businesses, it will vary depending on what you sell, how big the sales cycle is. So that's revenue, time, and then over time, you have a process. So basically, it might take, I'm going to take in this instance, I'm going to go easy, I'm going to go 6 months. 6, and then I'll go 4, 2, and that's months. If you sell a highly technical piece of equipment or engineering services, or, to be honest, almost anything that isn't pens. So for instance, this Costa Coffee transaction this morning, I was already pre-sold before I walked in. And by the time I got to the counter and said large latte, please, it was probably 2-3 minutes, and then I was out the door again. So that was a very quick sales cycle. As well, if I was trying to land a new consulting client or whichever, by the time that I either say hello or they reach out to me, that in theory would be moment 0. Then there's a time when you kind of feel each other out, and then you start to swap questions and do different things. It could be 6 months before you actually kind of land them as a customer. And again, there's someone else on the course. Actually, there's quite a few people I know who sell engineering design services. So this is how, if you have mechanical and design and electrical engineers that can build oil rigs or platforms or whichever, there's actually a lot of people that can do that. So what happens is that if you go for a bigger contract and you're trying to win a contract with BP or someone, especially any high value technical sell where there's a lot of different stakeholders, you are almost looking at a 6 to 12 month lead time to actually drive revenue into the business. And the reason for that is the tender comes out, you respond to the tender, you then go through and you go through various stages and questions and different things. But essentially, in a lot of industries, I think 6 months is almost, it's a good estimate from initial contact through to purchase. And that's for the people that actually convert. And for most salespeople, they go through a process where nowadays, especially with the internet, someone gets in touch with you. Although, again, for different clients, I'm now doing proactive sales stuff as well. But someone gets in touch with you, you send them some stuff across, you wait. They might come back to you, they might not. They eventually come back with some questions, and basically what you've got is a very prolonged process to actually convert the sale, because for a business, what you want to do is get pounds and pence in the bank as quick as possible. So one of the things we teach on the course, I'm just going to switch my pens out, is actually how, if you know what the process is and actually the proper stuff to do. Denise will know this because we're going through this at the moment. So if you go to, we have 3 modules on sales, but I'm going to pick, there you go. So you've got sales prospecting is something we go through, and then likewise also sales qualifying. And we break down the entire sales process basically to, I believe, as simple as we kind of can. What I believe is that actually you can take a 6-month sales process and really reduce it back to about 2 months or 3 months to actually then help you get revenue into the business quicker. So in that instance, you get there. So why this is important, or how this kind of works, is that most people, even people that work in sales, have, I'm not going to say they're lazy, but they have a way that they choose to work, which can be quite, they wait for the customer, they don't want to be seen to be too on their toes or chasing them too much, or they don't really know how to qualify someone out, or whichever. That actually the dance between when you're trying to flirt with the customer to get them in, and then actually getting the definitive either pounds and pence or the no is good, it can take 6 months. As we're actually, the sooner you can qualify a buyer out, what that means is that you can shorten your sales cycle so that then you can spend more time on other customers, but also you can actually reduce the cost of your purchase quite a lot. So I think one of the things that most people miss, especially if you work in a business, that people almost forget that there's a cost to your salary. So if you're paying someone £2,000 a month and you're the entrepreneur, you're paying a salesman, you've got 2,000, so that's 6K to handle the salary for that one period to try and get that sale. Yes, they will have multiple sales at the point. But actually, if through actually knowing what the process is, how to qualify properly, and you can get that same sales cycle down to 2 months, your cost of sale and your cost of business development has been reduced by 3 times. And the way to do this is actually stuff that we cover on the course. When you have your first discovery call with someone, so the way that I like to do it, I reach out to people on LinkedIn and just ask for can we have a quick call on something? We do some niceties, but actually within the space of 15 minutes, I've asked the questions that I need to know about actually, is this person right for the business? Are they a potential buyer? They don't have to buy now, but what I'm doing is qualifying them out, arguably in 15 minutes, is where if you did it the old-fashioned way where you kind of reach out to people and say hello, but there's no real urgency, or you don't really know how to go through this process, that could take 2 weeks, which means then you're kind of waiting for a response, and did you do anything else or did you not, or whatever. And the point is, if you can teach really good sales processes, you can really shorten these sale cycles down, which also means as a salesperson, especially if you get paid on commission, you can actually land a hell of a lot more sales, so you can get paid a hell of a lot more, get your bonus, build reputation, get good at what you do. And then don't forget as well, customers really respect someone that doesn't waste their time, that is still super friendly, and all these same brand kind of values and stuff come across. But actually, it's really important for a business, because then for the business owner as well, if your team have proper sales processes and they know what to do, there is the potential to get dramatic increases in the amount of revenue that you can bring in per year. Because when you're looking at the utilization of your sales team, is where previously your salesman might have been able to handle, I'm going to keep the numbers, 20 sales inquiries a year, which led to £1 million. Now in theory, they could do 60. So I'm not going to say that that's going to lead through to £3 million revenue, but the point is you'll actually be able to get money into the business quicker. And then from a growth strategy point of view, you would be surprised, or maybe you wouldn't, how important it is to get money into a business quickly. And this is real pounds or pence, cash, because what that allows you to do is reinvest. So actually, imagine you get that money into the business here. As the entrepreneur, you can reinvest that into another salesperson. And actually, you can grow a business much quicker if you have available cash to actually spend on stuff, which makes a massive, massive difference compared to people that just kind of go about their business and do their stuff and they don't want to offend anyone. And I think the classic sales thing, again, is that if you genuinely believe that your product or service will add value to people and that they'll get real, value from it, you should almost want to share it, because then it's a classic sales kind of cliche. But actually, if you know that someone has a pain point, something they're looking to solve, and you have a way to solve it, you should be all over it. Like one of the things that I'm looking at the moment, I am looking at getting a new website for the Roadmap. So that's a pain point I've got. I'm looking at reducing my packaging down. I want to get more sustainable in how I do that. So I'm speaking to people about card envelopes and whatever. But my point is, as the entrepreneur, I have a genuine pain point at the moment of how to solve that. If someone was very clever and actually took this, and they know that I have that problem, if they got in touch with me today and said, actually, Steve, do you ever have any issues with shipping, or have you thought about sustainability, or actually would you like some more options about that, I would bite their hand off, because actually that's a genuine pressing need that I have, that almost regardless of what you do or sell, chances are the fact that someone buys it means that someone has that problem, and the trick is raising awareness enough that people can actually buy it. So that's why I wanted to kind of talk this through. And again, if you want to learn more about sales or sales prospecting and qualifying and how to increase the conversion rate of your meetings and stuff, we cover it all on the course as well. So hopefully that is interesting. Well, we're on 9:37.